All right, everyone. Welcome to another Sonic Saturday. I am Sonic Theory, and I'm joined by the one, the only, my amazing co-host, SanicBoi. How's it going, man?
Going good. How about you?
Going pretty good. It's been a while. We had a little 2-week hiatus, but we're back and we're ready to talk some Sonic. So while we were away, not much happened, I would say, but one of the big things that I wanted to talk about was Sonic XDC. Did you get a chance to read this while you were away?
I did not.
So I have my comic here, but this was a pretty fun issue. I actually, the more I think about this comic, this crossover, I really like this second crossover more than the first already. And I think, the more I think about it, the reason is it just starts off nice and slow. Like the first page of the first crossover just jumps right into the action. Like you get the big dark side head floating into Sonic's world with the Ragnarok, I think it's called. And it just feels kind of rushed now that I'm looking back on it, which is fine. Like they jump right into the action. I know some people like that, but I kind of like when a story takes time to build. So I don't know. I really appreciate that about this story where we're getting some moments with Sonic and his friends, and it's not necessarily action, but them just catching up, them talking about what's been going on, sort of slower moments. And I guess they also have the leniency to do that now because things are already established where these worlds are connected. So that's something that I really like about it. But I guess I don't know. I don't want to spoil this story for you unless you want to dig into it. But what do you think? We
You know
don't
what?
necessarily we don't necessarily have to talk about it because now that I know that you haven't gotten a chance to read it yet, I'm like, I don't know if I want to spoil that for you.
No. There's always what's the guy who always like the Sonic speed reading guy? What's his name? Game
Game
Apologist.
apologist.
I
Yeah.
always watch those videos on the new comics that he puts out either way. So let's just get into it.
Okay. So one of the cool things here is that Sonic's hanging out with Flash, and that's a pairing that I think a lot of people really like, and I really like it too. But Sonic Boy, this is one of the biggest problems with the comic, in my opinion. So at the end of the first crossover, if you remember, Lex and Eggman are talking with each other. Somehow, in the midst of all the chaos of what was going on, Eggman had made his way over to the DC universe and he was chatting it up with Lex Luthor, hitting it off, and they formed an alliance. And so this whole thing is going to be revolved around this secret alliance that these two formed. But right on these portals connecting the worlds, because these portals are set up now and they're connecting the worlds, so there's free travel to and fro from Sonic's world to the DC world. And the heroes are like, I wonder where these portals came from. But Sonic Boy, tell me, what do you see? What does that portal say in the bottom right?
That looks like Lex Egg.
It says Lex Egg right on it. And I made a video about this covering the comic, and this is one of my biggest gripes where no one, for some reason, is like, Lex Egg. I wonder if Lex Luthor and Eggman teamed up. Now, another dead giveaway, if the name wasn't enough, the portal, the color itself is a green and purple. That's the colors of Lex Luthor. And then the embellishment on the words is like red and black. That's Eggman colors. So there's a part here where Batman's like digging through files. He's the world's greatest detective. So he's digging through files. And he's like, I've looked at all these like manufacturing plants, these different like, business records, and Shadow, you got to take a look at this. And he's like, do you see the connection that I found here? And Shadow's like, oh my gosh, Lex Luthor and Eggman have teamed up. I'm like, you guys didn't realize this from the big portals that said Lex Egg that allowed you to travel to these worlds. So I thought that was one of the dumbest things I'd ever seen. Now, some people are saying that maybe Batman already knew, but he just wanted to like dig in and make sure that his evidence was concrete and that these two were working together. Sure, I guess that could be a thing, but like we get a line where Sonic's talking to the Flash, and Flash is like, "Yeah, we don't know where these like came from. They just kind of popped up overnight. Everyone in the Justice League looked at them, and we have no clue." So I'm like, it was just a little too stupid. I mean, if the portal didn't say Lex Egg and it just like we knew, it was going to be Lex Luthor and Eggman doing it, it's whatever, right? But the fact that it says Lex Egg and the DC heroes have met they have met Eggman before. They met him in the first crossover. He flew them into the Ragnarok on one of his ships. So I thought that was a bit ridiculous. I know that these comics, they're geared for a younger audience, but I mean, older audiences can obviously enjoy them. I think that was just a little too silly for my taste that no one was like, maybe egg. No one pointed it out, so that rubbed me a little bit, but it's funny nonetheless. We got some cool pairings. We got Superman hanging out with Knuckles again, and they went to meet Cream, who I believe Cream was totally absent from the comics last time. So it was cool seeing her. There were some weird drawings in this. I don't know if I have the Wonder Woman one pulled up, but like, what is up with Superman's pose like going on here where he's flying in with Knuckles and he's like doing this? There's like, that's a weird drawing. There's a really weird Wonder Woman drawing that goes on. So some of the humans look a little bit strange. It's not terrible, but I don't know. This was fun. Superman introduced Kara to Cream, and Kara kind of like freaked out. She's like, "Oh my gosh, Cream's adorable. I want to stay here." So that was a fun pairing. We also got to see Silver interact with more of the Green Lanterns, seeing him with Guy Gardner, who was really getting under his skin. It was kind of interesting to see because Silver, I don't know if you can see SanicBoi, the whole time he's like, dude, we got to throw this guy out of like the airlock and just call it an accident. And like Silver was genuinely getting like rage baited by Guy Gardner. So it was kind of funny. It kind of made me feel like Sonic 06 Silver again, where he's kind of aggressive, which was a fun twist. This was my favorite part, however, of this crossover, seeing the Teen Titans. I thought that was really cool because we know from the first crossover that Tails was actually working with them, but we never really got to see it. We had a cool cameo where Beast Boy showed up for like a picture, and he was it Rankles the Otter? The like obscure like green Knuckles kind of looking reference. But we actually got to see Tails interacting with them this time, and Blaze was actually on the team too. You can also see Beast Boy is a Yeti from Sonic Lost World. Now, I don't know why they keep doing this, but this is the second time that they've had a shapeshifter turn into the Yeti from Sonic Lost World, because in issue 79, when Whisper's fighting Mimic turns into this Yeti Lost World guy. So they keep doing that a lot recently, which is kind of funny. I don't know why. Maybe they're working on some Sonic Lost World stuff. But then at the end of the issue, we see what Eggman and Lex Luthor are planning, and they have the Legion of Doom ready to back them up. So that's kind of where the story drops off for now. Obviously, we know from like the covers that it seems that Eggman's gonna like gear them up in like metallic tech, and obviously they're gonna deal with the heroes in some way. But I thought it was a really strong start. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to like go into too much and spoil it for you before you see it on Game Apologist channel, but it's good. I think you'll like it, especially if you like the first crossover. This one's been really fun. Any thoughts?
No, that sounds like a pretty good introduction from what you described. I mean, like, especially what you were saying with the beginning there, that was a bit weird. Like, one of my favorite lines from the recent Sonic comics, the IDW ones, is that in issue 16, Sonic says, "You know what I love about Eggman?" And Amy replies, "What?" "His subtlety." And then, so he just has his iconography across to everything. And even Lex Luthor, he's one of those characters that isn't exactly known for being subtle as well. His branding's all over whatever he makes. So, like, that is really weird that they wouldn't just like say, like, even if they had made it, they could just said, well, it's not really harming anything yet. It's not like we can do anything about that. So maybe that was a weird choice, but overall seems like a good introduction.
Yeah, I just, I wish that because we know our characters aren't stupid. You have Batman, the world's greatest detective. Sonic and his friends are obviously smart. Tails is really smart. The fact that no one was like, hey, maybe Eggman's behind this, or maybe we should see what Eggman is up to. Like, why does this say Lex Egg? Like, it just was like, I don't know. I didn't like that choice. But besides that, it's a really fun read. And like I said, I think I'm liking this more than the first crossover just because we're not rushing into things right away and they're letting things build a bit. So late to the game, apologies. But when's the next release for Sonic XDC? I think that's in like a week or maybe like a week and a half. I think it comes out like the 3rd or something like that. So we're not too far away from the next release, so that'll be fun. There was, I don't know if you saw this, but there was like something floating around I guess we could talk about where it seemed like Sega was changing online rules for Sonic content creators, and people were kind of freaking out about it, where it was like they were wanting to restrict like long plays on YouTube, so you couldn't upload long plays anymore. There was what else did they not want? They didn't want people using Sonic music, and there was something else. But it was like, man, like people were getting kind of worried about it. But a Sega rep came out and said that this was only for Japan. That still felt really weird. It's never a good thing whenever you kind of like restrict what people can do. I know some people were worried that they're heading in more of like a Nintendo direction now that the franchise is becoming more popular. But I don't know, that was kind of worrying to see for a bit, but I'm glad someone came out and said something. Did you see any of that, SanicBoi?
I did not. This is all a surprise to me. And I got, before you said the Japan thing, I got worried like every single one of my videos uses Sonic the Hedgehog music. Like, what am I going to do? But yeah, that's weird. Stuff like this, it always starts in Japan because I think those companies specifically, that's where it originated from. They're the most protective over their IP. And especially with the more increased popularity with the franchise, I could see it. And technically they're within their right to do so because it's their property, they own the copyright, stuff like that. But like you said, it's not the best to be restricting, and I'm glad this is seemingly only for Japan, but I would not doubt it if eventually sometime down the line this might move to other countries throughout the world.
Yeah, that's the worrying part. Like, sure, it might begin in Japan, but you know, sometimes those things lead into it becoming a bigger issue elsewhere. So I don't know. I don't like the direction that that's heading, but hopefully it's just a nothing burger in the end. But I don't know. I feel like not a lot of Sonic news has happened as of late. The only thing I've been hearing about is the definitive edition that's been like tossed around. Like I heard they dropped the price of Sonic Frontiers on PC, so people were wondering if it is going to come to other consoles. But now I keep hearing that it's only releasing on Switch 2. Does any of that interest you at all? Because I'm kind of just like meh on it. I feel like it's going to be almost like a Sonic Origins. Did that get a definitive edition or something? Something got a definitive edition, and like I just didn't care about it.
Yeah, Origins got a Plus edition, which was just like the physical release alongside the Game Gear stuff. I at this point with the Frontiers Definitive Edition stuff, we could talk about it all day, like what it's going to include, what could be happening with it, you know, what's Sega going to do with it after the fact. But at this point, we don't know anything. We've known about it for like 2 months now, ever since it got leaked on the Korean ratings board. So, and we've heard nothing, absolutely nothing. That's why I think everyone's thinking Sonic Central in June, and that was also rumored too. Like, I don't know. At this point, why drop the price on Steam if it's not going to be on there? But I could also see that too, because yeah, I'm not even sure how to explain that. That just seems like a decent decision. Just like if you're going to do a new version, the definitive version of Frontiers, release it on all platforms. But if there's one that it doesn't have the game yet, might as well just do it on there just to, you know, save resources. Because I can guarantee you, if Sega wanted to do this, they would. But they want to limit how much they have to manufacture, you know? So if this was like a Switch 2 digital only or Switch 2 just like game key card or something like that, maybe that's how they'll try to justify it being only on Switch 2 is just through that, so it's easier to make. Who knows where it's coming from? We have no clue. Everything we know is speculative. Like, I shouldn't even be saying stuff like this right now because we just don't even know. We should just wait because some other rumors that have come out, it's like it's switched to, like, it could be coming to PC, like it's coming on June 23rd, and that's really close from now. So I guess we'll just wait and see on that.
Yeah, I mean, the news is going to start ramping up anytime now because we're getting closer to PlayStation State of Play. We're getting closer to a Sonic Central. So you're right. Probably best to wait and talk about it once we actually have more concrete, like, evidence of what's going to happen with it. You know what? I did forget in our 2-week hiatus, we saw that Sonic 4 finished filming. And we actually got an image of Metal Sonic, like a physical version of him, and it looked pretty sick. What are your thoughts on that?
I did see that. That was one of the things I actually was paying attention to. Metal Sonic looks great. He barely looks changed from the post-credit scene of Sonic 3, which is to be expected. But, you know, it's just so cool getting to see these characters as actual physical things as opposed to, like, you know, the puppets that we got for Sonic 3 or, like, that weird old Sonic design that we had for the first movie where it was that weird, like, plush thing that, like,
Yeah.
that's weird. I'm glad that they're using the statues and they actually look really good. And I'm not sure about the glowing eyes, though. I'm not quite sure if that was actually there in the image or if they had to Photoshop that in afterwards, but that still looks good, too. You know, there's not much to, like, really deduce from the image besides, oh, yep, it's Metal Sonic. But, yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, I'm excited. That model looks so good. So I think Jeff Fowler, the director, posted, like, we just filmed the best Sonic movie ever. So obviously he's going to say that about each one that he makes, but I don't know. It got me excited. I'm like, man, I really hope they cooked with this one because, you know, I liked 3 a lot, and I know it's probably most people's favorite. I think 2 might actually be my favorite. I liked it that it was a little bit longer. The emotional beats were there for me a bit more. So 3 was a little bit like if we're going like up with these Sonic movies, and then 3 was almost not like a decline, but maybe like a plateau kind of. So I'm hoping that we go up again with this movie. At least in my opinion, I think that they need to all have like the hype scenes, but they need to let things sink in a bit because, like, I know one of the big complaints that people had that I also had was, like, you go from this, like, awesome fight scene, you know, you have live and learn and stuff like that. It's kind of an emotional moment too because Shadow is kind of rectifying his wrongs and learning to, you know, help humanity instead of, like, hurt it. And then we go all of a sudden to Gerald Robotnik spanking his grandson with a weird robotic hand. And it's just kind of like a shock. Like, you're like, okay, I guess this is what we're switching to. So, and then, like, I don't know, they need to have those emotional moments simmer a bit more. So I think that would be nice to do with the 4th movie. But I don't know. That's like the big news, I guess, going on in Sonic right now. It's quite a lull, if I do say so myself. The comics are kind of, like you said in a prior stream, the comics are kind of carrying this year, which is odd, seeing as this is the 35th anniversary, and we're almost halfway through the year, and not a lot has happened, which I really thought by now that something would be happening. I know people were, like, complaining early on, like, in March and stuff, like, oh, we haven't got anything yet. I'm like, we're 3 months in, you know, like, just wait a bit. Now it's really like, okay, we're not going to get a lot this year. The tail end of the year might be a little heavier with content and announcements and news, but we're definitely not getting the game. We'll get trailers for the movie though, so that will be fun.
Yeah. Dude, you know, I felt so bad about not posting a video these past couple weeks. I'm like, dude, my fans probably want something, you know, just a little thing to hold them over. But I'm like, there's nothing to talk about. And knowing me, I probably couldn't come up with a really good video discussion topic for just something to hold them over. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, I'll live stream every single gaming event that's happening next week, and then I don't know, maybe the entire summer I'll just not do anything because I won't be able to play Frontiers Definitive Edition if it's not on any other platform. But it's just one of those weeks. We always have them as Sonic fans. I remember back in 2021 where we were in the Sonic drought. Even though we just had a $300 million movie come out, we're getting Colors Ultimate, but there was that stretch where we had nothing except for the comics. And I know a lot of people got stressed about that, but this is also why it's maybe good to be a fan of other things as well, because this year has gone by. Even though we've had nothing, this year has gone by like extremely fast. Like it's already almost June and we haven't had anything, even though we were all complaining like, oh, this is going to be such a boring year. Like, this is why I'm so excited for games like Lego Batman. I'm so excited for things like Spider-Man, Brand New Day, stuff like that. This is why you need to stretch out a little bit so you can always be constantly excited about the next big thing instead of just being here sad and waiting. Maybe this is why I should talk about other stuff on my Sonic channel because, just to really drive excitement. But of course, it's what my other channels for that I haven't used in months. But, it's just one of those points. We'll get them. I'm sure June is definitely going to be the month. If not June, we're not getting anything this year. I think that's just something we're going to have to accept. But I think June is locked in for Sonic news. I think that's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, I hope so. Like you said, I've been eating in content outside of Sonic. Like you said, like I just beat Lego Batman last night, got all the achievements in it. Took us 29 hours. My girlfriend and I co-opted it. So it was really fun. Have you gotten to touch that at all?
I haven't, but I've been seeing so many videos about it. It just looks like such a fun time. I can't wait to get into it.
It's really good. But yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about just liking more than one thing, because I feel like I would go crazy if all I liked was Sonic. Like, obviously, that's probably the thing I'm most passionate about as like a franchise is Sonic, but there's so much out there that keeps me entertained and that I look forward to. So that's good. Bad Bob also said that there's speculation that the movie will be will do Sonic CD and Sonic Heroes with an ending that could be Neo Metal Sonic or Metal Madness. Yeah, I think that's kind of like what everyone's thinking with Metal Sonic and Amy being in it, that it's going to be a CD kind of Heroes sort of thing. So I'm excited for it. I really hope that they go the Terminator route with Metal Sonic and kind of make him from the future trying to hunt down Sonic the Hedgehog. That's been my theory for a while. So let's see, what else have I been doing? Or do you want to show off your stuff that you got, or even talk about it?
Absolutely. So recently, Ryan Drummond was coming around to my state, which stuff like this never happens. I only discovered that my state had a Comic-Con like 2 years ago after me and actually before me and my first girlfriend broke up. She told me about Comic-Con. I was like, we have a Comic-Con? And then lo and behold, 2 years later, he comes around and I get him to take a photo, which is on my community tab. You guys can go and check that out. But I also got him to sign a Sonic with Hero Chow, which has the soap shoes. Got a personal message right there from him. And got him to sign Sonic Heroes too, which don't show that to SF Productions because he'll crash out. But, it was really cool to get to talk to him because I know he does it like mostly for money. Like that's why he's there, just to get money from the fans, and that's pretty much it. But he still makes a really cool time. He talks to you, gets to know you for like a minute or two. It's a cool experience. I would recommend meeting him if he comes around. Really expensive, like ridiculously expensive. $100 for a 3-item pack, with some of the items being up to like 60 or like $75 on their own individually, and these two would have been 120. Photo would have been like brought up to 160 without the bundle. So like I could not justify spending that much money ever again. So I'm probably never going to see him ever again, but I'm at least glad I got those. And I'm glad to actually cross that off the Sonic fan bucket list of things that I just never thought I was going to be able to do before I had all of this.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. And you said he's your favorite Sonic voice actor, right?
Yes, he is my favorite.
Yeah, that's awesome. Bad Bob also said that UK Wendy's released Sonic cards. I don't know if you've seen this floating around. I saw that. I was so disappointed when I saw it was UK only. But dude, what a cool like opportunity to meet a Sonic voice actor and get stuff signed, dude. Like one of these days I'm gonna have to do that. I would love to get Roger Craig because he's my favorite Sonic voice actor. So I'd love to have him sign something of mine. I have a plethora, I guess, of Sonic Funkos I could get signed or something. But man, that is really cool. I gotta say I'm pretty jealous. You know what? Why don't you plug your second channel? I'll put this. Oh, not that. Put this up right now. If you guys want to go check out SanicBoi's main channel, where he has a bunch of content over there, always talking about Sonic news, Funko Pops, different things. But yeah, plug. I might be able to pull it up if you actually also give me the name of your second channel.
Yeah, it's literally called SanicBoi 2. It's in my about section if you just want a direct link to it. But yeah, over there I pretty much just talk about anything that isn't Sonic the Hedgehog. It's just whenever I want to talk about it. It's not consistent like at all. Like I maybe will have a video here and then go for like a year and then have a video here and then maybe 6 months later have a video here. But you know, it's whatever I want to talk about. I think my most recent video was talking about the controversy surrounding the Lanterns trailer, which I am very passionate about. For those who don't know, I am decently into DC, and I was Green Lantern. Green's my favorite color, so that was just gonna be a natural thing either way. But yeah, I just talk about a bunch of random stuff. Whatever I want to talk about. I've been considering, you know, going into more maybe controversial topics, which maybe not a good idea, but you know, it's just always in the back of my mind. Maybe something I should do. But
you know what? Do it. No, I always think that, you know, as long as you're respectful, I think as long as you voice your opinion and you're being genuine, you should do it. Because I mean, I'm not saying go cause drama, but you know, it's so freeing to just talk about what you want to talk about, you know, and not be beholden to worry about like what other people think. So, you know, you're a very respectful person. You know, I've seen your content. You're very professional and stuff. So I think that would be fun to get into. But also, like you were saying, I wanted to say it is so hard to post on a second channel, especially when you already have a main one that's kind of like built up. Because I have a second channel too that I'm actually trying to be more consistent with it now, but it is hard. Like, here's my second channel if you guys want to go check it out. I just put a video out not too long ago comparing Resident Evil 6 to Sonic 06. There's a lot of similarities there that are kind of interesting and fun to look at. I've also been talking about other comics on there. Drama with my own channel and other Sonic content creators. Just some just stuff that I want to talk about that's not Sonic, you know. I think sometimes as a content creator, it's hard to branch out and talk about other things because we can't really always like our channels are Sonic, so if we want to talk about something else and we put it on our Sonic channel, it's gonna, you know, not perform, and our audience is gonna be like, "Oh, this isn't what we subscribe to you for." So it's kind of nice to have a second channel where you can kind of just post other stuff to talk about.
Yeah, you know, I mean, something else I've also considered too on that channel is like a SanicBoi Dark or like After Hours or something like that, where it's like I just get to let loose, talk about anything I want, say anything I want, like say F this, S this, you know, like I've always wanted to do that, but I know I just absolutely couldn't because either one, I'd get cooked in the algorithm, or two, I have a bunch of little kids who would go over and watch that. Like, I don't know. It's just like a weird thing for me to grasp personally because it's like I have this audience, but like, are they going to respond well to this? It's always that balancing game. Sometimes it works, and those are the videos that get posted, like the Lanterns one, the Fantastic Four review, stuff like that. But sometimes I'm like, do I want to talk about this? Should I talk about this? You know, it's a balancing act for me personally. But I've been trying to get more so into that direction. I think that would maybe be even a better opportunity for me to do rather than my Sonic channel. I'm just not quite sure yet.
You know, you could always make a third channel and not have the SanicBoi name in it if you're concerned about like a younger audience, like finding content like that, and you want to like totally like have it be something, you know, different, a bit darker, SanicBoi after hours or whatever it was. So you could always do that, but yeah, I think it's a balancing act for me too, because I always like to try to come off respectful and polite, but you know, it's also hard when you want to speak your mind and you're like fired up about something. I might have to watch your Green Lanterns one now because I'm a little excited for the show, but I do know like people that, especially that first trailer, that made people mad, and I understand it because there wasn't even green in that trailer. So I don't know. Did you see the second trailer, the new one that came out?
I did see the second trailer. It looks a lot better, but I still have my doubts. Like, especially that lantern suit. I still don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah.
Like, it looks a lot better when it's on him, but there's still just something about it that I'm like, you know.
I thought the second trailer looked really fun. I'm not sold on the suit. I would rather have like a green suit instead of the brown. I think that's a really odd choice, but I'm kind of optimistic about it, but I see where people have the issues for it, and I'm not pushing back against that. You know, if people want to take issue with it, I totally understand, you know. Surya Dragon also said he'll be getting the chance to meet Erica S, the voice of Blaze, in 2 months. So that's really cool. Any tips or anything you can give them, SanicBoi, or just be prepared to spend a lot of money meeting a voice actor? Or
Be prepared to spend a lot of money. Just be yourself. They meet all kinds of different people every single day, so you being a bit odd is not going to faze them at all if that just so happens to be the case. You know, just be yourself. It's totally fine. These people, they have their experience with the weirdest of the weird, so you're not going to be anything to them. Don't worry about that. And you know what? If you can get a photo for free, try to bargain that off of them, because $40 for a photo on your own device is just insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. Surya Dragon wants to know, is Lanterns a TV show or a movie? I believe it's a TV show coming out on the Max, HBO Max, or whatever it's called now. It's changed names so many times. Platform. So kind of like where you'll find Game of Thrones and stuff like that. But I'm hoping it's good. There's a lot of doubts right now, and I can't blame people for having those doubts with what's been shown. Bad Bob wants to know, out of interest between you both, who has the most Sonic merch? I'm going to assume SanicBoi does. SanicBoi's been a Sonic fan for a long time, much longer than me. I've been a fan for 6 years. Because all this shelf back here, like, I guess you guys can't even see all of it. That's not all Sonic. Like, that's other, like, properties, too. I have one section that's, like, all Sonic. On my ground, though, it's, like, swimming with, like, Sonic Legos and, like, sets that I don't have anywhere to put right now. I have some toys, like some action figures and stuff up there. You know, maybe I beat SanicBoi with my sheer comic collection. I don't know if we count every single individual issue, because I have some Archie that I haven't like read yet. So I have a few of those, and I have like every IDW issue. So, but I'm willing to bet SanicBoi has more.
I'm willing to bet that too. Like, do you guys see? I have about 12-ish years worth of stuff now. So everything you see over here, this is maybe like a third of my stuff. I still have stuff over up that way. I have stuff over back behind me over there. Like, and even stuff that's over on that side of the room, which I should probably move over here. But, and even stuff I have tucked away. Like, I have a bunch of just random stuff that you will never see anywhere else. Like, I have the most random Sonic Boom backpack that I've never seen anywhere else, and it's official. Like, I don't have that. You might have me for some of the merch that I don't have, but
you got the Easter Egg Man.
Yeah, I don't have him. I've never been interested in collecting those, like the seasonal merch. Like, I don't really care about that. But And
Okay,
like those new Funko Pops coming up, like the Halloween ones, like I don't really care about them. I do have that.
there
It's
we
right there.
go.
I have two of them. I have two of them actually, because GameStop, they delayed it by a couple
Yep.
of days by getting it, and for whatever reason they gave me two. One of which was with the original purchase, and another one was like, "Hey, do you just want it?" And I'm like, "Sure, right?" But I mean,
I
it's definitely.
actually I didn't get mine from GameStop because I didn't have a physical one, but my girlfriend was working there, so she was able to snag me this. So
Wow.
that was awesome.
Girlfriend working at GameStop. You're living the dream right there, man.
Exactly. I got some like she's gotten me a lot of Sonic merch. This one's dusty. I need to dust in here, but like I don't know if you probably have like every set I have, man. Like
Probably not. I am slacking on the figures and stuff like that.
they begin to take up a lot of room over time, as I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. Like you get to a point where you're like, man, where do I put all this? My room's gonna end up looking like Speed Supersonics, where he just has that insane like collection where it's just all stocked up. But I see you have a big and Eggman Funko back there. I don't know I have that big. I thought they were combined for a second. I don't have Eggman in Funko form. I need to get him.
Yeah, he's the only Eggman I have. I know there's an upcoming one, and the one that was released with the first initial wave that I don't have. But this is the one where he's like in the machine with the hammer from Sonic 2.
Oh, yeah, that one's
That
sick.
was a really good find.
Classic Sonic the Hedgehog says, "Dark SanicBoi, dude. You need it to happen. You need to make it happen. Get that."
The girl I was talking about earlier, she even suggested a couple of months after we broke up, like you should make a Shadow Boy. That would be funny. Maybe I should. Who knows?
You should do it, dude. There's a video that I'm probably just gonna do it because there's a comic character I like called the Sentry, and I've been thinking about making a video on him because let me show you guys something really quick.
Did you guys see that Popeye is coming to Sonic Rumble? I'm really excited about that. No, I'm not. This just looks like slop. I'm like, really? Come on, guys.
Yeah, what is up with like Sonic Rumble and choosing the like worst things to collab with? Like they're really knocking it out of the park. Smurfs, yeah, that's like the big cultural thing right now. Smurfs. They didn't just have a movie flop at the box office. And you know what? Popeye. That's what all the kids that like Sonic Rumble, they love the freaking I'm so over Sonic Rumble, man. It's unbelievable. Like, and it's not even a bad game. Like, I played a little bit of it and it's fine, but like, yeah, Sentry is from Marvel. So kind of like going on the dark SanicBoi talk. So I've been reading Sentry for a long time. So this is the new Paul Jenkins run, still coming out right now. But I think this is from his 2018 run. Like, I'm a big comic book nerd, okay? I get it from my dad. My dad has been a huge comic book nerd his whole life, so kind of just fell upon me, I guess. But I collect like everything that Sentry's in. He was like my favorite Marvel character for the longest time. I got the weird spin-offs where he would just make like a one-page appearance, like anything, like Annihilation Scourge when we had the Dark Sentry running around. I got every comic because I loved him, right? They're in 2024 or something. They like killed him off, and then his power, and like this is a character, mind you, SanicBoi. I know this is like a weird rant, but he's a character that like can't die. He's been killed before, and he just comes back. He's a godlike being essentially, but somehow they killed him off, and then like his powers went into like 5 other people, and they just like straight up replaced the character with like 5 other people, and like it made me so mad because I'm like, what are we doing? Like, why are we making this choice? So I was thinking about making a video. I have a little bit of a script written up for it where I'm just kind of like ranting. I'm talking about like Marvel makes really weird decisions with their comics, but that would kind of be my dark SanicBoi, where I'm just like ranting about like comics. But I'm gonna have to pull trigger on it at some point because I don't know. Right now we're in such a lull with Sonic content that I'm like, man, why am I not posting more on my second channel? So been a lot more active over there. If you guys ever want to check it out, Sonic Theory Plus. Of course, guys, also check out SanicBoi 2. Good content over there. Apparently, I'm gonna have to watch that Green Lantern video. So, actually, I did have it pulled up. Let me see if I can screen share so people can see. I haven't done this before, so
I was gonna say the stream's about to like drop 15 different frames,
yeah,
like 2 seconds.
Oh yeah, it's like screen sharing is easiest with 2 monitors. Let's see if it works with 1 monitor. Can you guys see this? I don't know.
It's showing up Sonic Theory Plus.
Oh, great. So I probably never. Let me see. Remove that. Remove that. Yeah, it's not sharing, is it?
Yeah, probably not.
Okay. Well, it was worth a shot. But yeah, go check out SanicBoi's stuff, guys. His main channel, of course, over here. Surya Dragon wants to know, what do you think about the Absolute series for DC? It's really good storytelling. That's one I'm gonna have to check out. I know my girlfriend is interested in reading the Superman one, I think. Probably Batman, but I haven't checked it out yet. I've heard really good things. Classic Sonic the Hedgehog says Godzilla was a cool collab, but after that, it's like, why? Yeah, that was one that got people excited. They even did like a really cool animation for the Godzilla collab. I actually thought that was kind of cool. And I'm not a big Godzilla person. I've said that before when we've talked about the upcoming IDW comics. Like, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that, but I'm not a huge Godzilla person. But I know people were like hyped about that collab. Weird choices after that. Really weird choices. I don't know if they're just like the person running Sonic Rumble is like stuck in the past and they just really like older cartoons like Smurfs and Popeye. Nothing wrong with that. Like, I've seen Popeye and the Smurfs and like they're fun, but that would not be my first choice if I'm running this company, being like, all right, we need to make sure that we do collabs with these characters. You need something more relevant, you know? I don't know what would be good characters to add or like a good franchise to collab with, but something other than that. Yeah, there you go. Dragon Ball, that would get people excited. Like anything anime, really, like people really like anime right now. So there's so much that is like way more relevant than what they're trying to do. So I don't know what their thought process is, especially. And then you see the earning reports from like Rovio and how they've just been losing money for Sega ever since they acquired them. And it's like, what is going on? I did see, I don't know if you saw this news, SanicBoi, that they're like moving some of the people from the Sonic Rumble team over to work on different projects. I think maybe help development with a Sonic spin-off, or it was the next Sonic Frontiers game or something like that. Did you see any reports of that?
I did not.
Yeah, so I guess like half the team or something, instead of firing them, so people were happy about that, they moved them somewhere else, but that doesn't bode well for the longevity, I think, for Rumble. I could see this game shutting down within like a year or two, honestly, with how things go. We saw the Steam charts, of course, like 2 or 3 weeks ago now when we looked at those, and the numbers weren't good. Hopefully there were more players on mobile. We don't have those numbers, but all signs are pointing that this is a failing game, and it's kind of sad, but it all makes sense when you're like looking at these collabs and you're like, who's logging on being like, yeah, let's play that new Popeye collab. I don't even know when Popeye last had like a movie or a show or anything.
Yeah, it looks like they're just like picking franchises out like the hot topic new selections, and it's like, oh, this is looking pretty cool. We'll just like because what they did like a Care Bears collab, like
Yeah,
a
that's
couple
right.
months ago, didn't they? Like I complained about that one too. But like at this rate, we're gonna be seeing stuff like Umi Zoomies. We're gonna be seeing like the Flintstones. I can guarantee actually. I'll put my money on that one. We're gonna get a Flintstones collab here.
Yeah, I was gonna say Flintstones. I think Umizumis. I don't know what that is, but it sounds new enough that they probably wouldn't do it. But Flintstones is definitely within like the realm of like the old IPs that they're choosing from. Like they are really like taking stuff from the 80s or the 70s, and Popeye's even older than that. They're like going back and like really pushing those franchises. But what's Umizumis? Because you were like shocked I didn't know.
That is a Nick Jr. show where it's like two kids in their robot and they're like really small and they just do little adventures. It's a baby show, right? But yeah, it was really fun to
I
watch.
probably saw like an ad of it when my sister was growing up, but yeah, that one I don't know.
Yeah, if I show you a picture, you might be able to recognize it. But
I bet I probably would. Let me look this up. Umi. Team Umizoomi?
yeah,
Oh, you know what? Yeah. I've seen it. I don't know if I've actually seen an episode, but they do look really familiar.
yeah. But yeah, Sonic Rumble, dude, it's crazy.
So Bad Bob says they're trying to bring back more nostalgia to Rumble, which would be good for some older generation, but I've got to disagree with that, right? Because like I've said I'm 29, so I'm almost 30. Like I'm decently old for this franchise. I don't know too many people older than me. Like I know there are older Sonic fans, but like that are like, dude, Flintstones, or like, dude, like Popeye, I gotta play Sonic Rumble because they finally have Pop. Like no one's saying that. Like I love Sonic, but we gotta be real. No one is saying that. No one's like, man, we gotta go play Care Bears on Sonic Rumble. I gotta like open my wallet for that. Like no one's getting hyped about these collabs. Like these are like the dumbest collabs that they could be making. I don't know if they're trying to lose money for like a tax write-off or what, but like this is so stupid.
Dude, when you say something like that, it just makes me think about that poor Sega intern that has to explain to the higher ups why collaborating with the Care Bears is a good idea and why they'll bring more profits.
I've got to know who's making these like proposals over at Sega for the Sonic Rumble team to be like, trust me, guys, Popeye, it's gonna be huge on Sonic Rumble. Like, Surya Dragon says, as of right now, it's not looking good for the video game industry. Yeah, a lot of, I mean, the video game industry has always been fickle. It's always been a very tough industry. It's been a huge industry. It's bigger than movies. Like a lot of people don't know that the video game market, like industry, makes more money than the movies do. But it's just wild because there's like so many layoffs all the time, different people moving to different companies all the time. It's crazy. It's a vicious industry. It really is. I think, I don't know. It's always changing too. It's always evolving. Like, I don't know. It's weird. We're in a weird state of gaming right now, but Sonic's been doing good. So besides like his spin-offs, I do have a lot of faith in the next Sonic game. I think we talked about this is the longest gap in recent times for between Sonic games, maybe possibly ever, right? For mainline titles. So that might be a really good sign that they're like really trying to get things right with this game. So why does Flintstone sound like something they would do? I mean, like, yeah, I think SanicBoi really hit it on the head. Like, if you see a Sonic Rumble Flintstones collab come out next month or something, like, just know that SanicBoi predicted it first. I can honestly see that. Like, they're gonna do Flintstones, and then they're gonna do Jetsons after that. Maybe like Scooby Doo. See, Scooby Doo actually would be better because at least Scooby Doo maintained like some relevance from the Hanna-Barbera like era of cartoons. But Bluey is even more relevant. I don't watch Bluey, but I know who Bluey is. Like I know people talk about Bluey. That would have probably been better than Care Bears. Like, I don't know. Are Care Bears still relevant with people?
That's what I was. It's like the hot topic shirt that like, oh, this looks cool. I'll just buy that. I have no clue what a Care Bear is, but like you always see those people every so often. It's so funny because like, can you tell me that bear's name? And like they're like, no, I didn't even know
Yeah.
from a franchise. Like,
Yeah, I mean, there is the fun side of it to like having these collabs, but you have to think like this is probably costing them, right? In some way, they have to like license out these characters, so they're probably paying the fee, if I had to guess, to have them in the game. And what's their ROI? What's their return of investment on this? Like, who's like really shelling out money for all these Sonic Rumble skins? I don't think it's a lot of people. I really don't. Nobody talks about Care Bears. Yeah, I don't think it's very relevant anymore. Like SanicBoi's saying, it's just like some old interns like, oh yeah, I remember when that was a hit. Like, yeah, they've been rebooting a lot of things, modernizing stuff. We're in a pretty big remake era where like everything's either getting a remake or a remaster. Um, it's not all doom and gloom though. I mean, there's a lot of good games coming out, a lot of indie games that are doing really well. Lego Batman, like I said, that's a big one. I had a lot of fun with that. So there's always going to be like down periods of gaming, but there's also hidden gems. You can't always like focus on like the big titles all the time. It's like they're doing everything but Sonic, and this proves that as good as Sonic is, they really need to make their other characters shine. Yeah, I mean, aren't there a lot of Sonic characters already in Rumble? Like, I think they have some of the IDW ones too, like Surge and stuff. So I really want that Sonic card game to come out. I don't know if it's going to, with how bad the Rovio side of things are for Sega. What's it called? Blitz? Sonic
yeah,
Blitz?
Blitz.
I've been like actually excited for that. I don't know if you know what this game is, SanicBoi. Do you know Marvel Snap? Have you heard
Yeah,
of that? I got big into that for a while. Like, I don't usually play like mobile games or games like that. I played a little bit of Hearthstone back in the day, but not too much. But I was like buying packs, like digital packs of cards for the Marvel thing. And I had a is that Yusuke? Oh, that is Yusuke. I like your profile picture. Um, but I got really into Marvel Snap, and Sonic Blitz kind of has that same vibe, like that virtual card game with the cool animations and stuff. And I'm like, man, I feel like I could get into that. But it's kind of gone right now. They took it offline. I think they said to like refine it, but some people are wondering if they're actually just gonna like shutter it. I wouldn't be surprised if it never sees the light of day. Classic Sonic the Hedgehog even says it's kind of forgettable, which is fair. I know card games aren't everyone's cup of tea. It's something I'm kind of excited about, though. If it does see the light of day, I hope it's good. I hope it's good, but who knows? Maybe we'll get Flintstones cards too in that game. I really hope they don't go that route. But that
you know.
one also had like, oh, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say that game also had like I got on that train of thought because someone was saying, or Surya Dragon was saying that like they need to put Sonic characters in. That game had like Archie characters, I believe, in it. So that's something we don't really see. Is like Archie's kind of been forgotten, shoved aside. There's the whole weird Ken Penders thing that people have been catching me up on. So that could be a cool game to really like have weird, obscure characters in that we don't normally get to see. So I don't know. That could be a fun way to see more people. But what were you gonna say?
When you said Sonic Blitz, I was immediately reminded by the fact that one of their social media managers, or at least the official account for Sonic Blitz, had mentioned that during May we were supposed to get a new update or something about the game. We haven't seen that, and it's literally we're almost done with May.
Yeah,
So
that's not a good sign.
I'm thinking they had a meeting where it's like, okay, no, we're done. Just scrap it all. It's going in the dumpster. Like, I do think Sonic Blitz isn't coming back. I don't think we're going to see
Yeah.
it again. And if we do, it's not going to be Sonic Blitz.
Yeah, that's definitely not a good sign. The whole Rovio department, as I've mentioned multiple times now, is failing. Like, I think they just had a earnings call, Sega, and they were talking about how disappointed they were with the Rovio team. So I don't know what is going to become of that. That whole purchase was probably one of the biggest mistakes that they've made in recent years. I would like them to turn it around. I think that they have the potential to. But yeah, that's not a good sign for Sonic Blitz at all. I think I do remember also seeing or hearing that there was supposed to be some kind of announcement, unless they're saving it for like the very last day, which would be weird. The clock is ticking. That's not good. Unless they could be holding it off for a Sonic Central announcement and like just do everything there, but that it still doesn't bode well. You would like a turn-based RPG Sonic game. That could be kind of fun, like a little spin-off. Classic Sonic the Hedgehog says Sonic Blitz. Flintstones and Sonic Blitz, fire. One game that does not get mentioned anymore is Sonic Dream Team on mobile. Or Sonic Dreams. Is that, I'm guessing that's Dream Team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. People like that game though. It just it's in a weird place being stuck on iOS where it's like, most people have an Android. I mean, a lot of people do have iOS stuff too, but it's really cutting out a huge market being stuck on iOS. So kind of limits its reach a lot, which is a shame because that's one of the games that people are like, this is really good for a spin-off. So hopefully someday it gets ported over. I know that like games like Shantae were stuck on iOS at first and came over to like consoles and stuff. People want that for Dream Team, but who knows? While we're in this kind of downtime, SanicBoi, what's like the coolest piece of merch that you can show off, like a Sonic merch? So I have one that I want to show. If you want to go grab yours really quick.
Oh man.
If you can think of anything. This is also kind of like an overwhelming question because you probably have so much. We could, like, every week, if we wanted to, we could grab one thing and just show it off. And maybe even like, if you have a story about it, you can tell that. Or if you just think it's cool piece from your collection that you want to like kind of show off. And then in the chat, if you guys want to tell us like what one of your favorite Sonic items that you have, or maybe even a dream item that you want to get would be. Because, while there's not a lot of Sonic news, the cool thing about these streams is that we can just kind of like connect as a community, chill out, talk Sonic. It doesn't even have to be Sonic either. But yeah, we can just kind of like hang out as Sonic fans, unite, But I want to know because SanicBoi has such a huge collection. Like, look at all these posters and like, I don't know if those are like figgies or what, but like, you got some sick stuff, man.
Yeah, that is a really big question because, like I said earlier, you're looking at like 12 years worth of stuff. 12 years I've made a connection to a big portion of these items. The coolest thing, I'm not even sure if I could nail it down to the coolest thing.
So maybe not the coolest thing, but what's one thing maybe that you've gotten within this past year that you're like, all right, let's just show this off on stream and maybe talk a little bit about it. While you're looking or thinking, Classic Sonic the Hedgehog says he has the Sonic Roll board game by Kess that he still doesn't know how to play. I think I've seen that one. That one actually looks kind of cool. One of these days I need to, when I have more like available funds, I need to start getting some of the Sonic board games and things. That would be kind of cool. I know SanicBoi has that Monopoly board back there. That's cool.
Yeah, that might be one of the better ones. Is I have that one and the Monopoly Gamers one behind it. That's the modern Sonic one they released a couple years back.
That's awesome. Bad Bob also says that his is the 1994 Sonic and Tails plush. He's handed them down to his son, who is also a future Sonic fan, thanks to the movie and Jazzware figures. That's awesome, dude. Gotta make sure that your son keeps those figures nice, but that's really cool. Especially handing them down like that. That's special, So that's always special that you can hand them down to your son and kind of share that memory with him. See, I'm just like spying on SanicBoi's stuff because I see he has that like I don't know what they were. They're like Teddy Grahams or something in that Sonic cup back there. Because I have like almost all of them too.
You know, it might be more beneficial just to take you with me and just look through the entire set, just so that we can get
Let's
a
go.
real good baseline for what
We're-
would be considered the best thing.
We're going on an adventure. Oh, see, look, that's something I'm jealous of. He has all the DC Funko Pops.
That's only 3 of them. If only I had all of them.
I don't even have a single one. I have the figures, but I don't have the Funkos. I had to make a choice because my money was limited. Look at all the plushes too.
Yeah.
I got that Wisp, that green Wisp. I have a lot of the where are they Squishmallows.
Yeah.
Soria Dragon says, I wish there were more merch of Blaze the Cat. She doesn't really get a whole lot. I have a few products of her. I think I just have one of her figures, but I think only one thing. I don't think does she have a Funko Pop? I'm not sure.
Yes, she does.
I might have that too. I'm not positive. Look at all those books.
Yes, that includes like comics, graphic novels, like the Encyclopedia, art books, stuff like that. You got the games down there as well, and there's stuff behind the games too. I just don't want to move all these.
Yeah,
so I don't have to clean them up again. We got like stuff like the movie 3 figures back there, the DC figures behind my old 2DS here. The Frontier statue you can maybe see a look at back there, as well as Amy's cards. Bunch of 2.5-inch figures. Got the birthday, what you were talking about in the cup there. You got like the birthday candle thing that was released a few years back at like Albertsons and stuff like that. Got more comics up there, Funko Pop stuff on the wall over there.
Is that Yoda a clock? Because I have a Darth Vader clock that's like that.
Yeah, it's I've been using this for like 10 years at this point.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I got the figures right there. So if you guys saw anything that you think should be in contention for the best one, let us know in the comment section below, because I have no clue.
Bad Bob says that your next video should be a tour of all your merch. That'd be cool.
Know, I've always thought about doing that, but I'm like, I don't want to spend like hours and hours just like recording, trying to find the best stuff, you know.
Well, for now, let's we'll do a fun segment where maybe we'll find like a piece of merch, and you'll have more time to think about this. Just like one thing, and each week we'll bring it up and just either show it off or talk about it or whatever. But while we're in this lull, it might be kind of fun to like explore that. You know, I should have done it this week, but this was more of like getting back into the groove of things. I also want to start getting into like community videos and either watching them and like we can talk about like what they're talking about, maybe like pause the video here and now, or react to them if it's like an animation or something, but do some cool stuff like that for the community. I think it would be kind of fun. Maybe look at some smaller channels, see what they're saying. But like we're in such a drought right now, which is fine, but it would be kind of fun to just see some stuff like that. There is one piece of merch I want to show off. So I will be right back.
And thus, I am all by myself. You guys usually don't get to see this part, and I know he's listening to this right now. But I am by myself here usually after stream when everything just goes black. And he doesn't get to see that part because he leaves the call. But here, I just get to sit with my thoughts. Maybe I could try to pull up one of you guys in the comments because I know he has that power.
Yeah, let's see if you have that power. Because I think you should be able to, but I'm not positive.
Comments. Show on stage. Okay, yeah, I get it figured out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I also don't know how it works on mobile.
Is dang dog is all alone up there? Hopefully that should be on the screen. If it's not, I don't know.
I do not see it, but
maybe it doesn't work. Let's do that.
Straw Hat says, "What's up, SanicBoi and SonicTheory? We're just chilling. What is up, Hyperlines?" So this is what I wanted to show off. SanicBoi, you'll have to tell me if you have this. You probably do, I'm guessing, because you have so much. But I think this is one of the coolest sets. The Dark Side. It's kind of hard to see with the glare, I guess, but Dark Side versus the big three: Shadow, Silver, and Sonic. You know, all in their DC gear. I don't know. when I saw this, it was like $60, and I was like, dude, I have to buy it. Like, I just have to. I can't let this go without grabbing it. I think, Shadow lights up there, his bat signal. But I got this maybe 9-ish months ago, maybe less than that. It was around when the comics were coming out, but yeah, that's like probably one of, if not my favorite, pieces of merch. Do you have that one?
I don't. I just collected the Sonic and Silver individually because it was like $60 for 3 really cool
Yeah.
figures and then Darkseid.
I wanted Darkseid though. I thought that was kind of cool to get. Surya Dragon says, you think you could invite game apologists to the stream one day? I mean, I could always try to reach out, but he's big, man. Like I am small stuff compared to some of these other Sonic creators. So Hyperline says game apologist would be a wild cameo. I don't even know if he's seen me or has even heard of me. I feel like despite having like 45,000 subscribers, I still feel like I'm really relatively new to the scene, and then also kind of like small. Because he's like in the hundreds of thousands. I think he might be at like 200K or something. So I don't even know if he knows who I am. But it's possible. Vice Hella says, I just got done making a video about this topic. Hope that this current crossover is a little better than the last one. Yeah, I agree. I really do think that. I think just like parts of the first one felt so rushed. And I said that in my latest video, where it's like a lot of the fights too really felt rushed. I don't know if you felt this way, SanicBoi, but some of the villains would show up either from mainly DC. I can't really think of other villains that showed up from the Sonic side of things, but they would just get like beat in like the most pitiful way. Like Reverse Flash showed up and Sonic beat him in like 2 panels. And it's like, okay. Obviously Darkseid's the main threat, but things just felt really rushed because they were trying to show off like cool moments and like show the scale and scope of this crossover and like all these different characters. And I understand that, but it didn't let things, I guess for lack of a better word, cook enough to where it just felt rushed. It felt rushed. Ethan says, I have this 4-pack in my room and it looks awesome. Sonic, Shadow, and Silver versus Darkseid. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Hyperline says he is an Archie fan, bear in mind. That's fine. Like I said, a lot of people love Archie. It's just something I need to read myself. I've seen a lot that has, I guess, soured my view on Archie, but there are cool things in it. One of my biggest hurdles, I guess, getting into Archie would be the fact that it's not canon. I don't know why. I just have this weird thing in my head where it's like, if something's not canon, it's a little bit harder for me to get into it because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But, there are fun stories that aren't canon. Like I used to read so many Star Wars stories that weren't canon, the Legends books. Those were a lot of fun. But I don't know, stuff like that bothers me because also as a big Halo fan, I used to read the books before I even had an Xbox. I would read the books, get really into Halo lore, and those books were canon for a long time. And then when the Halo Reach video game came out, it had contradictions with the book. But then Bungie was saying, well, the game is canon because we created Halo, so the book isn't canon anymore. I'm like, dude, the book had so many good things, and that like bothered me for a while. I don't know like what it is, but stuff like that like bothers me. Straw Hat says, question, what manga anime would Sonic cross over with, Dragon Ball or One Piece? Probably Dragon Ball. I mean, that's the one that takes most inspiration from. You have the Super States, you have the Chaos Emeralds, which are kind of like the Dragon Balls themselves, I guess. So I don't also know a lot about One Piece. Do you, SanicBoi? The only anime I really have like really gotten into is Fairy Tail, Yu Yu Hakusho, and my girlfriend's getting me into Naruto. We finished the first series, and now I'm in Shippuden. So I'm not the biggest anime person, but I do dabble here and there. Yes, that's another one. Classic Sonic the Hedgehog says Batman beat Metal Sonic pretty easily. He hit him with like his bike, and it was like over. And, that one was really lame, and a lot of Sonic fans took issue with that. My only issue is that like all those fights should have been some. I mean, those fights could have been their own crossover, like comics, a full like issue pertaining to some of these fights, like Metal Sonic versus Batman. That could have been a whole issue, and it was over in like a page. So I think that was not handled in the best way. I don't know. That some of these things just needed more time to bake, and I think they kind of learned their lesson with this new crossover where things aren't being rushed right away, which is nice. I also just really like the art. I mean, the art for IDW has always been good. I know this is DC, but it's like the same team. So I got this. This was my favorite cover that they did, so I made sure to order that one. But good stuff. Good stuff. Hyperline says if you read 160, you'll find parts of the games in there. More so, Ian helped make it more cohesive. Yeah, Ian Flynn's really good at doing that stuff. It's so weird because so many people take issue with Ian Flynn now, even though like a lot of them liked him on Archie, but as soon as he started working with the games and like doing IDW, feels like they kind of turned on him. I don't understand it. I think he does a great job. For me, at least, as someone, like I said, that likes the canon stuff, likes things connecting and feeling cohesive, I really appreciate what he's done with the franchise. Once you better understand the American Sonic versus Japanese Sonic, you start to understand that something being canon is more of a detriment than a benefit. I would disagree with that, but I can see that some people might have that opinion. But there was some comment. You know how like in your YouTube studio, it like filters out like comment. I don't know if you've ever gotten them, but like it'll like automatically flag certain comments that will be hidden, and you can make them visible because it detects them as being like pretty bad comments. There was one that I got like a week ago that basically was telling me to like end myself because I liked canon. And I said I like canon stuff. I was like, that is crazy. But yeah, I mean, I guess that'll always be something people feel weird about. I just like canon stuff. I don't know. I don't think it's a big issue, but there's people that don't like it, so that's fine. Straw Hat says, highly recommend One Piece and My Hero Academia. I've heard a lot of good things about both of those. I know your name is from One Piece because he's what, Straw Hat Luffy or something. Do you think Eggman would take complete control of the Legion of Doom, and would he have a chance against the Joker? Eggman's definitely going to pull a fast one on Lex, or Lex is going to try to pull a fast one on Eggman. There's no way that they're not trying to like one up each other. Joker, they kind of made him also go out easily in the crossover, so I feel like Eggman would have a chance against the Joker, at least this Joker for the crossover universe, because yeah, Shadow took him down in like a page or two also. Classic Sonic the Hedgehog says something like Sonic Prime shouldn't be canon, though. I agree with that. That is one of the things I did not like, because it didn't feel cohesive. No matter, see, that's the thing. The comics to me felt cohesive, right? IDW had a clear starting point. It said, here's what's happening after Sonic Forces. And I guess maybe some people won't get what I'm saying here, but the canon stuff I like is the stuff that feels cohesive. I liked the clear starting point of like, all right, here's the gaps between Frontiers and Forces, and here's what's happening between all of this. You get to see their adventures. You get to see how they're dealing with the world after it was taken over by Eggman. Now, I did take issue with the comics when they said that they kind of like glossed over where Frontiers happened. And what was it, like issue 82 or 83 or whatever, when they introduced Sage, they kind of just like there was a whole mess with that. And I did call it out on my channel. I called it out in a video, and I said I don't like how they're handling this. So the same thing goes with Sonic Prime, where they just all of a sudden were like, yeah, this is canon. It was shoehorned in. For me to enjoy it, it needs to make sense. It needs to actually be cohesive. It needs to feel like part of the world. I don't like it when they just say like the quote that everyone always jokes about, like, oh, everything's canon, or like them just coming out and being like, yeah, Sonic Prime's canon. I don't like that. Sonic Prime also just felt like the perfect thing to be like, yeah, this is a spin-off. It's not canon. It's just a fun little Sonic. It's like the Sonic Boom is its own universe. Like Sonic Prime should have been its own universe, and that would have been fine with me. Sonic Prime Arabic says, how are you today? I'm doing pretty good. How about you, SanicBoi? Doing good?
Yep.
Do you think the Chaos Council would appear in the IDW series? I don't think we'll ever see them outside of Sonic Prime, despite them being canon. I really don't. What about you?
No, not whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
Do you feel Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog is part of being canon? No, I don't. I don't think any of those cartoons are. I mean, they fit, I guess, within the Archie canon, right? But that's kind of like, again, it's its own thing, like how Boom is its own thing. But yeah, I don't really have much else I want to talk about. It's actually just been nice catching up since we had a little hiatus, but we should be back in the coming weeks unless anything happens again, but try to make it happen every Saturday, guys. Thank you all for coming out and hanging with us. SanicBoi, is there anything you want to talk about and keep things going, or do you want to call it here for the day? Yeah, so maybe next week we'll have some videos planned that we can pull up and go through as a community, kind of talk about them, and maybe look at more of SanicBoi's collection and my collection, and hear more from you guys about some of your merch. And who knows, maybe we'll get a surprise huge news thing going on that we'll talk about. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Take care. Peace.